I personally would like to see a world where leaders are leaders and not segregated into male leaders and female leaders. It might be an antithesis to being a feminist, but the real strength of a woman is unequaled, unparalleled. But I'm not trying to win something over the men here. But if you meet a male leader, you would be looking at his leadership qualities, his competence, his skills, his knowledge base. But when you look at a woman, I think there is somehow an unintentional bias that sets in simply because of the way our society has been functioning. That you first apply the woman filter and then look at what she's doing through that colored glass.
Welcome to the podcast celebrating her victories, where we dive into conversation with inspiring women making waves in their field. And today, I'm thrilled to welcome our special guest, Rajini Ravi. Rajni carries over 25 years of diversified experience in field of finance and accounting. She has been privileged to work with some of the greatest organizations in the UAE, including one of the largest real estate developer. And today, she is the global head of finance for one of the multinational leading shipping service provider, Inchcape Shipping. Rajni, thank you so much
Thank you
for
for having me.
sparing your time here. I'm really privileged to have you here on the show. So, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Rajni, to break out, the vibes out there and to break out the conversation, I would like to ask you the first question that what led you to where you are today?
I think I've always believed that I'm capable of something good, capable of something material. So I've always strived to realize my potential. That's as simply as I can put it. I Early on in life, I decided that I want to be professionally qualified, and the I've always had a bent of mind where I analyze what's good for me or what I am good at. Both ways we need to look at it. So early on in life, I decided science was not for me. So I took up commerce and accounting as an elective. And then on, it was a natural progression. You want to be professionally qualified as an accountant, you go on to do the CA. So I cleared my chartered accountancy. So my motivation has always been how good I can be. So that's as simple as that.
I think that's very inspiring, to be honest with you. And many times what I see that when you go in an organization, walk into global role out there, a lot of people look up to you and they always become and take you as an inspiration and think about that one day they will become like you. So was that journey from after your graduation was so easy, and you get it whatever you wanted, or there was a lot of challenges? How did you deal with them?
Life is always full of challenges. It's just that what kind of challenge life throws at you is different for each person. But what makes the difference, I think, is how you tackle them. It's all in the mind, like I would like to say. So I have been thrown quite a few curveballs in my life. Without going into personal details, early on, I received a setback, and when I was in my 20s, I lost my dad, and then I lost my husband soon after. I've been a single parent most of my life. But all that aside, it has never deterred me from what I need to do with myself. So I think it might sound selfish, but I think every single person has to start with themselves, prioritize themselves at some point in time. Even your immediate family comes second. I think if you realize that that's what will help you in the longer run, then it'll all make sense to everyone.
No, I think it's very important to be selfish, because ultimately at certain stage you are responsible for what you are doing for yourself. And if you're not committed 100% to yourself, then it becomes really very challenging and difficult to focus on what you really aim for. So during this entire journey of your, you work with Dubai World, you work with Nakil, and now you're Inchcape Shipping. In all these organizations, you've been in various leadership roles. What is the most challenging thing that you did in your career? I mean, how did you cross over those paths? I mean, how did you come over that difficulty that probably you can guide, to a lot of people watching you out there today?
I think if I recall the most challenging phase of my career, it is, it's easy to become an accountant, a senior accountant, and a finance manager. It's to break from that managerial mindset into a leadership mindset. The leadership is not a position or a title. It is more of a behavior and an attitude. So how you develop that is by actually taking cognizance of what traits that would make you an actual leader and working at it diligently. For some people it comes naturally, for some people they need to work at those skill sets, but at the end of the day, you're only a leader if you can inspire others, if you can collaborate with others, if you can motivate them, and if you can make them better versions of themselves by interacting and working with you. So, to me, that transition from just a managerial mindset to a leadership one was the most challenging personally, not because of the circumstances, not because of my bosses or my organizations. It is just that I needed to break myself free of a closed mindset and realize my full potential. See, the opportunities are unlimited, the scope is unlimited. You just need to realize that you're capable of so much more and allow yourself the freedom to grow. Yes, you make mistakes along the way, but that's part of the learning.
Yeah, I think that's an important aspect that you said, that many often I come across scenarios where people are very afraid when they reach a mid managerial level. They're very afraid to pull the people who are working along with them, because they may afraid that, look, somebody else will grow and my position will become redundant. Or maybe there's other sort of people who said, look, let me just pull that person who's working along with me, empower him a little bit more so that he take my position and I'll grow up. In your career, I'm sure you would have taken the second part, right?
Yeah, I've never looked at my team different from me, and I've never been insecure. I think mostly it stems from some kind of insecurity that if I share all my knowledge, I will lose my importance or I'll lose my relevance within the organization. To me, it has always been that how do you see, you can't expect your boss or your organization to sit up and suddenly give you something overnight. You need to deserve it. How do I prove that I'm ready for the next level? It's because I need to do something more and take more initiatives than what is the role that I'm currently playing in. So my initiative has always been, okay, I'm now a finance manager. I want to go up to the next level. What does that person do? What kind of skills I need to do that? Where is the gap? How do I learn and grow? How do I prove myself in that role without being given the title or the position, so they know that I'm capable of delivering in that? So it's all a question of building up your confidence and building up your competence. And that I can only do that if I help the team below me to grow one step above so that they are in a position to backfill my position when I vacate and move on. So that has always been my mindset. And I wouldn't say I did anything great. I just helped people realize their potential,
I think.
because many people don't concentrate on that. They are so caught up in their day to day work life.
No, I think that's a phenomenal example of how a leader actually think about it. Now, considering your global role, I'm sure you're traveling a lot. Getting your time is like a little bit difficult, and you're into various roles as well globally. When you look into the global roles, how do you manage being a woman? These global roles, how people look up to you in your organization, and how do you make your voice count at the leadership role? What are the traits that you wanted to tell all youngsters that's coming up out there?
I think the basic thing is you believe in yourself, you believe in what your strengths are, what you bring to the table. And I personally would like to see a world where leaders are leaders and not segregated into male leaders and female leaders. It might be an antithesis to being a feminist, but the real strength of a woman is unequaled, unparalleled. But I'm not trying to win something over the men here. But if you meet a male leader, you would be looking at his leadership qualities, his competence, his skills, his knowledge base. But when you look at a woman, I think there is somehow an unintentional bias that sets in simply because of the way our society has been functioning. That you first apply the woman filter and then look at what she's doing through that colored glass. I would like my work, my skills, my knowledge to speak for me rather than it being based on my gender. And I have been lucky to have some very, very inspiring and collaborative bosses who have accepted me for what I contribute rather than who I am. I think there's a very subtle difference there.
Very, very subtle difference. And I think that speaks out there the kind of leadership and kind of peers that you worked in organization across the place. I mean, I will say that not just only you are lucky, but I think probably you have made yourself a right reflection to the organization that who you person as a person you are, and you done phenomenally different in your career in many and many aspects. So Rajni, I thank you for your time, but before we close the session out there, I would like to request you if you can just share one message for people who wish to grow in their career, how they should step their journey up. I mean, just in a nutshell, what they should do, because people have problems, they have difficulties, they have obstacles, they don't get right opportunity, right bosses. How to break through this particular things?
I would say simply three lines, right? First is know yourself. Self awareness is of utmost importance. You have to spend time introspecting to know who you are, what your strengths are, what's your passion in life, what drives you, what motivates you. Next is believe in yourself. You believe you can do it, you will be able to do it, you will find a way to do it. So never doubt your ability to achieve, right? That is very limiting. Thirdly, always be nice to people, kind, compassionate, not just to your peers, not just to your team, not just to people you're working, because what goes around comes around. I believe in that. So send out positivity, send out that energy. I'm sure life will be good to you.
Thank you so much, Rajni. I really appreciate your time, and this conversation is really, really engaging. So, thank you so much for taking the time out there and being with us. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be invited here. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate you having me here.